Welcome to J. Emerson, and we are about to launch our Delectable Duo tasting. We have two different vintages from this historic estate from Coteaux de Provence. Aix-en-Provence, yes. And we'll be tasting the 2001 next to the 2009 of their Cuvee Lea.
Yeah.
Which is a even split in both cases of 50% each Grenache and Syrah.
Yeah. And this is a wonderful, we think, a wonderful opportunity, kind of an educational opportunity in wine, if you're reasonably serious about wine, understanding wine, the history of wine, to taste two great Rhone vintages, 2001, 2009, two of the best in the last 20 years. And there's an opportunity to taste them together, and that's why we're selling it as a duo. And these are wines that you would, you may not like when you're done tasting, but it would provide a real great opportunity to see what wines like as they age. Of course, I should have said you might not like them. No, you're going to love them, every single one of them. So we've already poured our glasses, and I will give you just a little background on the domain, because we have to write the reviews that we're going to put in the newsletter about these wines. We have tasted them before. They've been Coravant a few times, so we've tasted them with staff, etc. And so a little bit about the domain. It was founded, Yole was founded in 1992. It's got 54 acres that are farmed organically and certified as organic since 1996. This Cuvee Lea is the Vin de Garde, which means it is the cuvee in their domain that is for aging. It is named after the daughter of one of the founders of Yole, whose name was obviously would be Leah. It's Grenache Syrah blend, as Peter said, as is tradition for wines in that region, Aix-en-Provence, which is inland a little bit, centered around the city of Aix. Domaine Yole is ranked as one of the top 20 domains in Provence by the Revue de Vin de France, and the grapes here are grown entirely without pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, or chemical fertilizers, and Cuvee Lea is not fined, and the clarity is due to their gravity. So it's only gravity is used to clarify it. So, all right. So now let's move on to the tasting part of this. And the first thing we're going to look at is the color,
which is quite apparently, these are both aged. They're particularly the 2001 has a kind of a brick color on the edge.
If you can see that.
2009 has a little bit more kind of purpley quality to it.
Yeah. I think when you pour these, when we poured them and when we poured them for other people, the first thing about recognizing aged wine is the color. And the color of the 2001 has gone to brick and has lost some of the purpley tones. And you can see that immediately when you see it in the glass. And that's what happens to a wine when it ages. Some of the greatest wines I've ever had have been wines that have had bottle conditioning and then through the years have just developed this beautiful tertiary aromas and balanced, and all the tannins have precipitated out. And that is what made the great clarets of England come to such prominence, is their aging in those grand old cellars. So the 2001, the color again is the brown. It is aromatic, and it's tertiary notes. There's no ripe fruits on this. Maybe
It's like dried olives and
lots of black olives. Yeah. Black olives.
a little licoricey underpinnings
Licorice.
too.
Kind of brambly. And one of the things that happens, although there's some oak, and this French oak, I think for a month, I don't know, what does that other sheet say? Do you have the other white sheet there that has the...
Let's see, here goes,
But here you get you definitely get the black olives. And no sense of oxidation in this one, although you always got to be careful for that. 25% new oak for 1 year, but all that's gone. Any sense of the oak is gone. It just it's the brambly kind of, and then the more I swirl it, the more I get just a little bit of maybe dried red fruits or. Great acid, tannins.
Amazing acid, yeah.
A freshness that belays the age and the look. and kind of drying tannins. I mean, there's still some stuff going on in the finish. It's delicious.
Very elegant.
Again, what makes a vintage so great? 2001, great conditions at harvest time are one of the most telltale qualities of a great vintage. That is somewhat dry, warm but cool nights. And the soil here in Aix-en-Provence varies. It's not as consistent as, let's say, Châteauneuf-du-Pape, although it's not far away. But the soil here is limestone, sand, kind of the foothills of at least the Little Alps. And again, I don't get a lot of pepper. You know, I don't see the peppery part of the Syrah, but then you've got a 19-year-old wine, so.
I just tasted the 09, and it is, there's some similarities between the 01 and the 09. The 09 has perhaps a little bit more fruit sensibility to it. I'm kind of getting, what are they called? They're little like lavender pastels, these little candies they have in France. Still some of that black olive note in it as well. Good spice. A little bit.
Framboise?
Yeah, a little framboise. Yeah. That's yes, creme de framboise. And it's very harmonious. It's a little bit rounder to me than the 01, but you know, delicious.
It is not as aromatic, and it's still got. I'd say the tannins are more present right away. On the when the palate, when you're beginning to go to the back of the mouth, I feel the tannins a little more present.
Certainly, yeah.
Because it's a great finish. It's got a great acid finish, and this is going to go well with I think as you said,
Lamb chops would be great with this,
Yeah.
or a simply prepared steak. You know, I definitely would, you know, with something that, as far as food pairing, I would keep things to a very simple preparation without too many spices or too many adjuncts, just to kind of really show the quality of the wine.
and here I do get a little more peppery, perhaps a little more black pepper,
Certainly, yeah.
and black cherries. And it's a balanced wine, but on the palate, the tannins attack a little sooner than the 01. I don't think you can see the difference in color here. I mean, overall, they're two very delightful wines. The 01 is actually a little more expressive
Yes,
than the 09, but they're drinking kind of young in terms of they've not lost their acid or their and the structure. The tannins are still present, and two delightful Rhone wines that are aging very.
very well.
Very well.
graciously.
So the deal is, ordinarily these are like $50 a piece, but you buy the duo, you save 15%. We don't expect to sell a ton of these because, you know, it's expensive and not everybody's head is into wine the way our heads are. And but if you'd want to do this, this would be an excellent opportunity to taste and compare wines with a little bottle age from two great vintages.
Thank you very much for joining us. Hope to see you soon.